Alright, welcome to this video. My name is Taylor Benchoud, and we're going to talk about the 3 most important lessons of 2019. These are just my personal 3 utmost important lessons that I've learned this year, and I wanted to share them with you. Why? Because, had someone told me this stuff at the beginning of 2019, maybe my 3 most important lessons would have been a lot more powerful than the current ones that I'm looking at right now. But nonetheless, number 1 was the power of people. Now, my Achilles heel, I guess, for the last 4 years has literally been not leveraging people enough and finding A+ rock star talent for our agency. And so this realization came because I hired a girl who doubled our MRR in like 1 year. It was actually in a period of 6 months, the moment I told her I was going to let her run the agency. And she really took ownership of it and just signed a lot of clients independently through her own processes and expanded the services of the agency and actually broke our systems because we scaled so much. And that was a huge realization for me, just realizing that, oh, holy shit, we can hire people and they can scale this thing without me. That's amazing. That was a huge realization for me. So that, and then also, great talent with proper training will make you more, like 10 times more than the cost of their salary, okay? And this is, again, just kind of a different way to put what I just summarized above. But if you're looking at hiring somebody who's an absolute rock star, they're an A+ person, they're just phenomenal, they're brilliant, they're gonna make you so much more than what you can pay them for their salary. And this just did not have this realization for the last 4 years. I just really, truly didn't see it until I saw it firsthand in my own agency. And now I'm a huge believer of the power of people, and I spend a lot of time and energy thinking about this, reading about this, and thinking about different ways that we can get more amazing people like this person that we had hired, okay? Now, the other thing is that you don't need a fancy lead gen system if you have genuine, passionate people that are advocating your services on a daily basis. So, this girl, because she took over the agency for a certain period of time, and I told her that I was going to let her run the whole thing, and that she was going to have to sign her own clients independently to keep the agency growing. Because of these things, she went about going and doing her own lead gen system that was very, very basic relative to what I had done for the past. And she killed it, and she's still doing really well with it. And so this was a huge lesson for me that, hey, we don't need some big fancy lead gen system. It can be very simple, and we can literally just make a few posts on Facebook, a few posts on LinkedIn, and spend 20, 30 minutes per day, prospecting different ideal prospects on those platforms and making sure that, we're doing that on a daily basis. And that's it. So the power of people. I've been blown away by this, and I'm very, very excited for 2020. Having this in my mind and realizing that, okay, if I really want to get this agency to the next level, it's less about building a fancy lead gen system. It's less about building some amazing new software that's going to revolutionize or automate something that takes a lot of time. It's more about finding amazing people, putting them in the right seat on the bus, and just letting them fly. And that is really what it's all about. It's kind of beautiful when you think of it in that sense. Now, obviously, there's a lot more chaos to business than what I just said. But regardless, that was number 1. That one was huge. Number 2 was the power of culture. Now, culture, I define this as like mission, vision, core values, and pretty much just what people are doing without you monitoring them, right? So it's like culture is not having a beanbag and a pool table and a ping pong table in your office. Culture is really just the decisions people make without you monitoring them. And if you think, like, how does Amazon, stay so innovative and continue to grow year over year with 50 or 500,000 employees, whatever it is? It's really because each and every one of these employees knows the culture of Amazon and bases their decisions based on the culture. And so that's how Amazon keeps going down the road it's going on, right? Like if you think of Amazon or any company in the world as like a bus, and the road is like the pathway to success, and then you have like dirt and like a cliff and everything else, and if you go off the road, you'll die. But culture is like what keeps the bus on the road and make sure everybody is not trying to like pull the bus into one direction or the other direction, keep it on the road. So culture is basically just, that's how I see it. Now, we implemented culture and really got serious about culture only 2 weeks ago, and this shift in like mindset, the shift in just overall alignment with the team has been night and day, and it's just been insane. So without culture, it's easy to lose motivation and fall out of love with your company. Part of the reason why I almost just completely got rid of our agency at one point, this was towards the end of 2018. I was planning on completely just getting rid of the agency, either selling it or letting our team manage it. And that was because I didn't have culture. I didn't really have a mission or a vision for the agency that was very motivating to me. Okay, and so because of that, I almost actually lost the agency in the sense that I would either sold it or let my team manage it and not really care about it. Fortunately, like I said, the girl that I had hired managed it and grew it, and that's when I was like, whoa, this is crazy, and hop back into the agency. But with culture, it keeps you driven towards a meaningful goal and helps you make decisions faster for everything. It makes your life a lot easier, because if you're thinking about should we do this or should we do that, you just go back to your mission and your vision and your core values, and you think, oh, no, that doesn't align with our core values or our mission or our vision. No, right? The mission is really just like your the North Star that you're looking at that helps guide you to make sure you're always going down that right direction and that you're going down the right road. So culture is really important for decision making. It's really important for keeping alignment. It's really important for making sure that when you wake up in the morning and you spend 12 hours working on that company, that you walk away with it feeling great, because you know that the end goal or the actual mission, the vision, is very inspiring. It's very meaningful. It does and is going to leave a huge impact on a lot of people's lives in a very positive way. And if you have this, it just makes everyone in the company, their life, so much easier. So the other thing is that great culture is what attracts A+ talent, okay? Now, to find someone that is truly like an absolute all-star and doesn't need to be kind of farmed in-house, like they're pretty much just already a genius, and if you just put them in the right position, they're going to just absolutely fly. They're attracted by culture. It's almost 99% of the time that these people really want to know that they're working for a specific cause or thing that is going to benefit the world in a very positive way. Okay, now the other thing, that last thing, is that your brand / reputation is a lagging indicator of your culture, okay? And so what does that mean? That just means that, look, how people see you or your company and your brand and your reputation, and whether you're an amazing company or a terrible company, it's all because of culture, right? So culture is kind of like the primary KPI or indicator, right? And behind culture is your brand and your reputation. So if your culture goes up, significantly, your brand and your reputation is going to go up significantly, because culture is literally like the foundation. It's so important, and it's so undervalued and underestimated by just so many people. So, power of culture, phenomenal. And I mean, if you want to read some great books about culture, I recommend How Google Works, the updated version. I also recommend this book from Gallup, It's the Manager, Jim Clifton, Jim Harder. This is a phenomenal book about culture. If you want to just even if you look at the back of this thing, it talks about how pretty much just the whole culture of companies is changing, why it's important that you should be aware of it, because of how millennials are so different from Generation Y, I think it was, or something like that. Generation Z versus Generation Y. They talk about the difference between our parents and us and hiring millennials, and how culture is going to have a huge impact on that if you're going to want to survive in the future. So The number 3, the last one is the power of offsites. Now, what's funny is that these 2 and 3 literally are the lessons that I've learned in the last like 14 days, because we just did a company offsite, and it was probably the most beneficial thing I've ever done for the agency, for our company, in 4 years. And it all happened in like 3 days, 3 to 4 days. It was a week total, but we spent 3 to 4 days like actually working in the trenches. So more innovation and progress came out of this 1 week offsite with Destiny and Alex, my 2 team members that are onshore, than the entire year. I would say than the entire last 4 years. There was so much progress and innovation that came out of this thing that everyone, when we finished, we were all looking at each other, kind of laughing about how it really feels like we have a real company now. That's kind of what we were all repeating to ourselves, was like, yo, it feels like we have a real company now. Obviously, there's still a lot of work that we need to do, but that's just how much innovation progress came out of that thing, was that all of us truly felt that we were like, whoa, we actually have a company now. This thing is like literally day one. Now, if you want to learn more about offsites and culture, the previous video I made, the last video last week on Monday, I talked more specifically about what went on during this offsite and why it was so revolutionary. If you want to learn about that, go watch that previous video. That was a really good video. The other thing is that offsites are great quarterly to keep alignment high and hold everyone accountable. So we're planning on testing out, offsites on a quarterly basis for 2020. So once every 3 months, we're going to go somewhere. Now, the last end of year offsite is going to be a bit longer because we're planning out the next year and reviewing the performance of the current year. But like the Q1, Q2, Q3 offsites, they don't need to be a week. They can just be like 2 or 3 days, maybe 4 or 5 days if you're factoring in travel time, depending on how far you go with your offsites. We're a remote agency, so like I'm in Panama, they're in America. If we meet somewhere, it's going to require at least like 5-6 hours of flying for one person, potentially 8 or 9, depending on the flight that we decide to take. So anyways, the offsites are great for holding everyone accountable and for just keeping high alignment, because one of the things we did with our offsite was we set OKRs, which is like a quarterly objective with key results for each individual person. Everyone has their own OKR. And at the end of the quarter, we're going to do an offsite, and everyone better finish their OKRs or come close to it. Otherwise, there's a huge problem, and we need to review that problem, and it'll be pretty embarrassing for the person if they didn't get any work done or any of their OKRs done. So it's an interesting model. I'm really excited for it moving forward into 2020. And again, I'll repeat this one because it's so important. High alignment. So our company is high autonomy, or is very, I forget if the exact word, we'll just leave it at autonomy. We have high autonomy, okay, which means that we're very, I'm very flexible, and I allow people to pretty much just do what they want to do. Now, there's certain standards that they're held to, but what we were lacking was alignment. So we had high autonomy and low alignment, which essentially the analogy for this is like, none of us really knew what we were working on, but we were all working like on the company and hoping that we were going in the right direction. So if for example, I was thinking to myself, I hope that somebody's working on like this, or I hope someone's like fixing that problem, and then I find out no one's doing it. That's what I mean by like low alignment. So the offsite really, with the OKR system, brought in huge like just amounts of alignment, and we'll see how it works out in 2020. I mean, I feel already 10 times better about the OKRs, but OKRs, just having quarterly objectives for each person, 2 or 3 objectives, no more than that, is crucial in my opinion, and I'm really excited to have that system now and see how it performs in 2020. So there's a lot of other lessons that I learned, but these 3 were the most lucrative / beneficial / insightful / important lessons that I had learned in 2019, sorry. And I hope that you can kind of dive deeper into these and witness them for yourself, because you truly can't believe in it until you see it for yourself, right? Like you can kind of know logically, okay, Google, it has a whole book talking about culture and people. It's probably pretty important, but I've read a lot of books, and to be honest with you, you never truly prioritize something until you see it happen within your company and you realize how beneficial it is, okay? You're blessed if you can see something and know right away that this is of utmost importance, and then take massive action and solve that, and then see the ROI of it very quickly. That very rarely happens. Trying to work towards being more so like that. But I would say that I started reading about culture 6 months ago, and then I was like, okay, let's try a company offsite and let's talk about this culture thing. Let's develop a mission, a vision, and some core values. Let's see how this goes, right? So it took me about 5 months to finally say, okay, we're booking the trip, let's do it. I've read too much about this, and I know that it's probably extremely important. So shrinking that time frame down would be amazing. But anyways, these are the 3 lessons. I hope you enjoyed them. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And without further ado, hit that subscribe button. I release a video once a week, every Monday. I've been doing it for a year straight now. I have yet to miss a day. I think it's been a year straight. I think it was the beginning of 2019 when I started this. So anyways, thanks for watching this. I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.